I think the biggest thing that holds people back from becoming wealthy is wanting to look wealthy prematurely. Most people confuse being wealthy with looking wealthy and then try to live like a rich person before actually having the means to do so, which then stops their financial growth and in many cases negatively affects their ability to build wealth. And I'm learning from wealthy people whilst on my own journey toward financial abundance. And I see they make some decisions completely differently to poor people. And one of those decisions is to look like they're poor. And in this video, I'll tell you why I completely agree that it's important to look poor while building wealth. You free up your biggest wealth building tool, money. Looking like you're rich is actually really expensive. I was surprised to find out just how many people live in luxurious homes and drive really nice cars, but are drowning financially. This is so common that there's actually a phrase for it called being house poor to describe people that live like this. It's when someone's home is costing them so much more than they can afford that it becomes a liability rather than an asset. I actually even know about a guy that was car poor. He spent 60% of his take-home income every month on car payments, and then a few short months after getting the car, got into an accident and couldn't drive it anymore, but still had the payments to make. Ouch! These people will almost never build wealth because they've taken on huge amounts of debt in order to create this image, and then use a significant portion of their income to pay off these debts and pay to service these expensive items to keep up the image. And that's the problem. It actually stops them from being able to create enough of a gap between the income and the expenses for them to really generate wealth. Rather than spending all of that money on debt payments and on maintaining this expensive vehicle or home, you can free up a lot of cash in your budget living modestly that can then be used to actually begin building wealth by investing into funds and stocks, business ideas, self-learning, or even building an emergency fund so that when an accident does happen, it doesn't leave you riddled with fear about having to go further into debt. You escape the financial hamster wheel. Another benefit of looking like you're poor is that it allows you to escape the financial hamster wheel. The financial hamster wheel is the process of constantly upgrading our lifestyle with every new achievement. When we get a promotion, we get the urge to upgrade our car. We start feeling for a bigger apartment suddenly, change the places we eat out at, and the types of products we buy at the grocery. This is devious because it has two things that happens that we're not really paying attention to when we upgrade our lifestyle. The first is that our unplanned costs go up together with the lifestyle inflation. For example, a new car will always have new car insurance prices, and it's more expensive to fix if something happens. But what's more important than that is the opportunity cost of living like we're rich now. If you've read any of the books of extremely wealthy people or heard stories about everyday millionaires, they almost exclusively made massive progress financially before even thinking about upgrading their homes and vehicles. And when they do, it's usually for utility or because the cost of the item is so small compared to their net worth that it's like buying something cheap anyway. Looking like you're poor and escaping the financial hamster wheel now allows you to free up all of that extra money you would have spent with every promotion in upgrading your lifestyle, as well as all of the unplanned costs that go along with that, to now add that to the fuel of building your own wealth, which now could allow you to feel financially abundant. Let's say you're currently saving $200 a month. When you get a pay increase of an additional $300 per month, you can save and invest an additional $200 and have a minor increase in your lifestyle with the additional $100. That way, you get to have your money working for you rather than working to impress other people. Quick pause for me to tell you, if you're getting value out of this video, that you should sign up for my newsletter down below. It's additional value. It's a quick 1 to 3 minute read with the key takeaway points from most of the videos that I do. So if you want to keep things at the top of your mind, it has that down below, as well as my website is linked down below, where you can get my free automated budgeting and tracking tool. It's an Excel sheet. You can get that, use that to track your finances, and it does most of the calculations for you. It explains everything. You'll have a good time with it. All right, guys, let's get back to the video. You can experience peace. One day, I'm sitting talking to my financial mentor at the time. this older guy that basically owns a small city where I'm from. And I asked him why he drove around in this Corolla, considering we're from a culture where looking flashy was kind of the thing you would expect someone with money to do. And he told me when he was younger he had the BMW, but then he realized that the Corolla can get him to the same place and cost less in gas. And that really left an impact on me. He didn't see the BMW or the Corolla as a measure of his worth or what he could do. He literally just saw it as a tool to go from A to B. He had a bunch of real estate that was giving him money monthly that he would be able to afford multiple BMWs. But he just got to a place where he didn't tie his worth to the things that he had, and he was able to live peacefully and contently. Trying to look rich requires both a lot of effort and a lot of money, especially when your bank account says you're not there yet. You have to constantly be spending. But looking poor when you're not actually poor, on the other hand, is super easy. There's a sense of peace I get knowing that every purchase really is just for my own happiness and contentment, and at a price point I genuinely can afford. I never need to worry about what new expensive clothing article to buy or of how I'm going to pay this huge list of bills at the end of the month. I just live in peace. And there's the added benefit of peace in your relationships as well. Because looking like you're poor allows you to keep a pretty low profile, and so you have pretty low expectations. But if you're looking like a rich person, then you're attracting people to you that want to live a rich lifestyle, or people that are looking for a handout, which then can cause a lot of stress, especially if you're broke and you don't have it yet. You're just looking that way. You can't have freedom. I promise you that everyone knows someone that lives in middle class hell silently. This is maybe my number one reason for wanting to get wealthy, to avoid this. What middle class hell is where there's someone that has a really good job, and they also have all of the nice flashy things that go along with the role that they have. Maybe they're an engineer, so they live in a very nice apartment, drive a luxury vehicle, and eat out at nice restaurants with his wife and kids, but they feel trapped by their job. This person makes a lot of money, but also spends a lot of money too. And because of this, they're never truly able to build enough wealth to live life on their own terms, or to quit when they don't want to do their job and go looking for something else. People in these situations usually externally look really well put together, and usually they are. But if you look a little deeper at their living situations, you'd realize that they're spending almost everything that they're making. And this isn't just for the middle class. This is how the majority of people think. Living modestly regardless of your income levels, prioritizing emergency funds and investments into yourself and your future allows you to have more freedom when it comes to earning a living. It allows you to leave jobs when you're around people that you don't like working with, and develop a nest egg that would allow you to take significant time off of work when you're stressed out, so you can actually enjoy the richness of life with people you care about and the job that you have. You love yourself way more. The phrase "look good, feel good" used to mean a lot more to me, but as I've matured into more of a minimalist lifestyle, I no longer place my sense of happiness and sense of success onto the price of the item that I have or the amount of the items that I have. People are constantly using designer labels and luxury items to manage their confidence and sense of self on a daily basis. Most people would feel better about themselves in a Gucci shirt than in a Nike shoe. And I'm not saying this from a place of judgment, I'm saying this from my own personal experience with it. When I drove around in my old Corolla, I never felt admired. But whenever I borrowed my uncle's SUV and I drove around and people would look at me, at such a young guy driving such a nice vehicle, I'd feel so good about myself that I had to stop and evaluate the emotion that I was having. Is it a good thing to actually feel this amount of admiration for something that I have nothing to do with? But when I asked myself if this attention was actually something I wanted to have, I came up with the answer no. Because these people weren't actually giving any attention to me. They were impressed by the vehicle. I was getting all of this positive feeling from other people's judgment of me and what I'm capable of. But to me, that also meant that if I wasn't living up to their standards, their judgment of me would make me feel bad about myself. It would literally be me putting myself at the mercy of everyone that I ever came into contact with, just to feel good about looking rich. Which I think is a recipe for disaster if I ever hit a rough patch financially in life. Because if I don't have the external things to get that validation, I'll constantly be looking to other people to help me feel the way I did when I was inside of that SUV. Now, as a person that intentionally lives below my means, I actually feel really proud of myself. Because I know that I'm doing what's right for myself now, for my future self, my future family, and whoever sees the way that I live and judges me, I don't care. Because I know that I'm making wealthy people's decisions. What are some wealthy people decisions that you've made or you plan on making in the future? Leave it in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, then you can click here or here for another video of mine. As always, thank you for watching.